People who grew up in the 1970s carry a psychology that almost feels like a myth to anyone born after the 2000s, a mindset built from silence, freedom, danger, and a childhood that, if repeated today, would get almost every parent reported, questioned, or arrested. Yet those wild, unsupervised, unpredictable years shaped something powerful. Something that still shows up in how they think, argue, love, trust, recover, and survive. The 70s generation grew up in a world with almost zero supervision. If you disappeared for 5 hours, nobody panicked. There was no phone, no GPS, no share location. You had a bicycle, 2 or 3 friends, a vague plan, and one rule: be home before dark. And even that rule was flexible, depending on your mother's mood or your father's whistle. Psychologically, this created something extremely rare today: a natural confidence in navigating life without constant instructions. People from the 70s walk through life with this strange inner voice that says, "I'll figure it out," even when they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. But to understand why they're like this, you have to look at the generation that raised them. Most 70s kids were raised by parents who lived through World War II or were born right after it. Imagine growing up with a father who knew real fear, a mother who understood real hunger, parents who saw sacrifice not in theory, but in life and death reality. These parents didn't talk much. They didn't break down, they didn't overthink, and they didn't complain. They endured, they worked, they survived. And without even trying, they passed that survival mindset directly to their children. This is why people from the 1970s matured earlier than most of us can imagine. Responsibility wasn't something they learned in a course. It was the air they breathed at home. You helped, you fixed things, you figured things out. If something broke, you repaired it. If something went wrong, you adapted. Nobody waited for rescue. Nobody expected someone else to show up. In the 70s, you were the help, and here's the part most people forget. The world they lived in forced them to grow a backbone. They watched their parents work long hours without making a drama out of it. They saw neighbors show up for each other without posting it online. They saw adults carry the weight of real life quietly, without applause, without hashtags. That environment does something to a child. It teaches you that life is serious, but you can handle it. That problems are normal, not catastrophic. That responsibility isn't a punishment. It's simply part of being alive. People raised in the 70s became dependable because they didn't have a choice. And that's why even today, they feel older. Not in their bodies, but in their minds. Their maturity didn't come from books or podcasts. It came from watching real life up close, without filters, without noise, without distractions. There's something almost poetic about this generation. They are the bridge. 1 foot in the old world, slow, raw, physical, and real. 1 foot in the new world, fast, digital, loud, and overstimulated. They remember what a life with no internet felt like, and they watch a generation today drowning in it. Maybe that's why talking to someone from that era feels different. They're grounded, present, direct. They're not trying to impress you. They're not competing in an invisible popularity contest. Their confidence doesn't come from trends, likes, or validation. It comes from their childhood, from their struggles, from being given responsibility long before they understood the word responsibility. They're a living reminder of something simple and powerful. Strength doesn't come from being taught. It comes from being tested. But now look at this new generation, the ones born after 2000. They grew up with a phone in their hand before they could even speak properly. Notifications, messages, timelines, videos, constant stimulation. Their brain has been running at full speed since they were children, and you can see the effect everywhere. They tire quickly. They get overwhelmed fast. Their attention span breaks in seconds. Not because they're weak, but because their mind absorbs more information in one day than 70s kids saw in an entire week. Social media gives them connection, but it also gives them pressure. They compare themselves automatically without even noticing. They feel behind even when they're doing fine. They feel watched even when nobody's watching. Their brain never rests because the phone never stops calling for attention. Even when they're relaxing, they're scrolling. And scrolling is not rest. This generation is brilliant, creative, expressive, aware, open-minded, but they're also mentally exhausted, overstimulated, and emotionally drained in ways older generations never had to experience. They're trying to survive a world that moves too fast for the human brain. One notification at a time. So here's my question for you. Which generation had it harder? And why? And also tell me, are you from before 1980 or after it? I want to know which side of the story you come from. If this video made you think differently, hit subscribe. We go deeper every single day. Don't forget to like the video. It helps more people discover messages like this. And if you want to meet people who think like you, join our Discord community. The link is in the description. Mind Sketch isn't just a channel. It's a place where minds like yours come to grow.